Go. I gotta hit record. Record. Here we go. This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
Heroes, gather tribute and earn my favor. Are you ready to begin?
I sure am ready to begin. What is up, everyone? My name is Greg Gizmozord Parker, and you are listening to Lords of the Storm, episode 126, the weekly Heroes of the Storm podcast for you, the true heroes of the storm. I'm joined tonight, of course, by the Zord Lords themselves, Mr. Kevin Multi-Zord Ellis and Ryan TBK Zord Reader. And on this week's episode, Heroes of Disney? Garrosh hits the PTR with a few other notable changes, and the Western Clash begins this weekend. But first, let's see how the other Zords are doing. First up, Multi. How you doing?
You're referring to the HGC Western Clash? Is that correct?
That's
okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. No, I'm doing well. Looking forward to that. How are you doing?
Excellent. I'm doing all right. We are... things are better than last week. There's no thunderstorm going on outside last night. We were able to control it as the Lords of the Storm. But
That's right.
Exactly.
Right when we ended our Skype call, it's power went out. Did you lose
For
power?
you?
The only one that lost power?
Mine went off for about 30 seconds.
I kept mine, which is weird because during the entire episode you could see it flickering in the back. But never went out here, so...
Yeah, mine was out for like a couple minutes, and then late at night, like it ended up being out until like 10 in the morning. So weird stuff.
Wow, yeah.
Good to go this week. TBK, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I am ready to talk about all the stuff we have. Lots of thoughts floating around the old mind grapes. It's good stuff.
This is one of those PTRs that will do that.
Oh, yeah.
So some really interesting stuff there that we'll get to here in a bit. But before...
Yeah, we got one of our... Super fun.
Before we get into the actual show stuff, though, real quick, what have you guys been up to in gaming, TBK?
Quite a bit of Heroes, actually, which should come as no surprise to anybody. I played a lot of Garrosh on the PTR, actually. Streamed for several hours Monday night, so that was a lot of fun. What else have I been doing? More Total War Warhammer. Almost done with a big, 30-some hour campaign that me and SwiftSword have been working on, so that's been quite a bit of fun. And Little Dragon Age Origins as well. Okay. And thanks to Twitter, I also got super nostalgic, and I got Kingdom Hearts Remix 1.5 and 2.5 for my PlayStation 3. So I am going to be playing through those here in the near future. So that's pretty exciting.
For a second, I thought you were going to say you got it on Steam, and it was going to blow my mind.
That would be really impressive.
And I was immediately going to get it.
But sadly, no.
Yes. Multi, how about you?
I've been playing some Heroes when I can, but it's been quite a few weeks since I've mentioned Hearthstone at the top of the show, and it's honestly because I kind of fell out of it for a little while. Like, I've been keeping up in the quests and doing that sort of thing, but it's only just recently I've started picking it up again. They've got that Frost Festival going on right now, where you get free Knights of the Frozen Throne card packs for just completing an arena run, so it's 3 per week, but totally worth it. So free stuff there. And I just wanted to give out a quick note to your Hearthstone people out there. I know a lot of people like myself have been hoarding all of your card packs because we were waiting for the change to come where legendaries can't be duplicates anymore. And that change is live right now. Like as of either today or yesterday. So I didn't really see like Hearthstone tweet out about that, but there's a blue post, and it's definitely true. So I had a bunch of packs built up, and I unwrapped them all, and I got 3 legendaries today. One of them being golden, and it's true. None of them were duplicates with what I had previously. So if you guys have been saving
Nice.
up, yeah, I'm pretty pumped about
Very
that for
nice.
sure. Now, the other Hearthstone-related question I have for you guys here is, because obviously this Ben Brode rap has been kind of owning the internet a little bit lately. A front page of Reddit, that sort of thing. If you guys haven't checked that out, please do. But I was wondering, do you guys think there's any chance we might get Alan DeBeery to rap about heroes?
No.
No?
I was talking about that last night too. Yeah, he's just not the public face.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. You've got, and it seems it's kind of weird because for most of the other Blizzard games, like Jeff Kaplan, who's the
Praise
lead
him.
on Overwatch, he's very public facing. Ben Brode, lead on Hearthstone, he's a very public facing game director.
Ian Hazakostas,
Yeah,
World of Warcraft.
Ian is very public-facing game director, and even with Heroes before, Dustin Browder was a very public-facing game director. But for the Heroes side now, it's a little different, where Alan seems to want to take kind of the back seat to the whole publicity thing, but a lot of the developers and such, Blue and community managers and such, are center stage for the hero side of things, which I think is very unique and very cool in its own way too. Like Alan doesn't have to do it. Like,
No, he doesn't. And I mean, there's been so many good changes under his leadership. I mean, think about it. Like 2.0 and everything since then. Like he's doing work back there. I do kind of feel like I wish I could get to know him a little bit better in some form. But past that, he's doing good work, obviously.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind some some dev videos.
His 2.0 launch video was all right. We
Yeah.
kind of got out there in front for that one. So
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big deal.
Even
of course, but-
even if he wasn't front facing, like super, I'm gonna be posting a ton on the forums and get a Twitter and post a ton on there or something. It's cool to see him every once in a while in those dev type videos, because then you kind of get to know. I mean, he is the game director. It'd be kind of cool to get to know the face of the game, or at least the game director face of the game a little more. And those in-dev type videos, or here's what's coming, or that type of thing, seem to be really good ways to do it without having to really put him on the spot, so to speak,
Yeah.
because those are pre-recorded and whatnot.
Well, I've actually been thinking about this, and we've had the discussion a few times over on Convert to Raid, and I think the reason we don't get those type of in development videos is just because of the rate of content and changes dropping.
True.
In Heroes of the Storm. Hearthstone, they get nerfs and or card changes and stuff very rarely.
Right.
Overwatch is like once a month or once every couple months, I believe. Heroes is every week. So that would be a ton of time of him making videos to like go over patch changes or things like that. So we have seen him, on the same scale as like Overwatch or Hearthstone or whatever. We have seen Alan DeBeery in a video, and that was Heroes 2.0. So it's not quite the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to
get
see
that.
him those type of things. I want to see him more for the big stuff. Like the
Yeah,
Heroes 2.0
don't-
launch was a really good example of that. I'm hoping that the next, whenever they drop guilds or clans, or
I could see that, yeah.
a big team league overhaul, or potentially drop in like a big old custom game browser / creator like Overwatch
Map editor.
has.
Yeah.
Map edit. Those big things, I'm really hoping we see a little more of him explaining, and or even like roadmap type videos. It'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool,
That'd
even
be
if
cool.
even if there was no dates mentioned, even if stuff was just kind of referenced. It'd be cool to be like, Heroes 2.0 was awesome. We love the feedback you guys are doing. We just did HGC Cheer. That's going really cool. Now,
Right.
here's some stuff that we're working on. It's in progress, but it's not ready quite yet. But here's a sneak preview or sneak peek of what's going on behind the scenes.
And this is the kind of thing we've had out of Ben Brode as well. He's done some little videos. They've started to do some more Q&A sessions and that sort of thing. I know Ian Hazukosis does a lot of Q&As. The Hearthstone team was doing that because they were taking a ton of criticism for not being forward-facing at all for like years. So I think we get more than old school Hearthstone before they kind of redid all this sort of thing, even on our side. One thing we really do get for those, I was thinking about, Greg, when you were talking about the updates with the patches, are those developer comments underneath every section. Like that alone takes a lot of work too, for them to sit down and walk us through the changes, the thought process behind them, and all that. So it's not like we're getting nothing. And I was kind of joking about the rap thing initially, but anyway,
you want it for real now, don't you?
I mean, I always want it, but one can dream.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's go ahead get into the store sales here. TBK, what do we got going on for this week's weekly collection update?
So this week we actually have quite a bit to choose from. Dahaka and Jaina are both on gem sale right now for $375 and $250 respectively. The prototype Mecha Dahaka, that sweet blue one, that's a robot, that's on sale. Crimson Succubus Kerrigan, Kaldir Abathur, Quartz High Gravity Zarya, Albino Funny Bunny Murky, Cryo Spectre Tracer Azure Stormpunk Kel'Thas, and the Crimson Apothecary Morales, which is probably one of my favorite skins in the game. It's very Warhammer 40k-ish.
Sure.
I really like it. And then also the Rainbow Unicorn and the Big Top Ringmaster's Pride, which is the Lion Mount.
Yep.
I've actually never gotten the unicorn. I might now. I haven't
You
decided.
should get the Unicorn.
That Abathur skin, though, was that one of the original Master skins? Because I just don't see
Yeah.
much of a difference.
It's just a skin tint thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's like skin tint. His master skin has the spikes,
Yeah, that's what I thought. So.
like a lot of the early on master skins.
Yeah.
Ew. Add spikes
More
to it.
spikes.
Spikes up.
The
Yep.
more spikes, the better.
Obviously.
But Dahaka, if you guys don't have Dahaka, he is superb. So you should definitely think about picking him up. Multi-free hero rotation. What do we got going?
Well, if you're not sure you want Dahaka, you can try him out. He's in the free hero rotation. And he's kind of, it's a toss-up whether or not he's a giant bug or a giant dinosaur. I'm still not sure myself. Dinosaur bug. When it comes to giant bugs, though, of course, you've got a new Brax on the lineup as well. But if you want to squish these bugs, there's a couple heroes that can help you do it that wield giant hammers or maces. I'm talking about Thrall and Johanna in the list there as well. We've got, if you're not into weapons, you can just hit people with your fists with Karazim. Or, just go up and swipe them as Greymane. And then on the healing side, we've got Lieutenant Morales and Malfurion to back things up. And always Vala. Vala's always hanging out with Malf. I don't know what the deal is. I guess he can give her mana and whatever. Cool. So that's the regular lineup. Oh, and we've got Gazlo, which I almost didn't even mention because when I was on the Lagging Balls podcast just a couple weeks ago, I said he was my least favorite hero, and still kind of is. So, hey, he's on the free list, though. If you want to check him out, odds are you're better at him than I am. So we've got in the other slots, Alarak at level 5. Can't go wrong. Nova at 10, TBK's favorite.
Yep.
And then this is interesting. At 15, you are able to ride shotgun as Gaul, but it's not until you hit level 20 on your account that anyone trusts you to actually drive. I guess that's kind of like life. As a kid, you can ride shotgun, and then you hit 16.
At 15, you get your ride along, your permit.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Then,
You get your permit,
and then 5 years later, at 20, you get your driver's license.
which is Cho. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah,
It
that's
was,
totally how it works in real life.
Yeah, that was a much more natural hero rotation this week. I liked it.
Why, thank you. I tried. Except I almost forgot Gazlo. Maybe intentionally.
Do you like the Vikings more than Gazlo?
Maybe, honestly.
Ooh.
They're the
Heresy.
second to bottom for me, but maybe.
That's
I don't know,
not true. Because
Go ahead.
Probius is in the game, so.
I
Hey.
like Probius better than those two.
I crushed it on Probius this last weekend.
Actually, you did.
Which, so I think
Yeah.
we
There was
mentioned it on-
9 other Probii though.
Yeah,
I had
there
one death, but
were top damage, but yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I think we mentioned that it was happening last week, but it has happened and it passed the Zord LAN this last weekend, and we got lots of heroes in, and we had did we have 2 or 3 matches of all the same character in the brawl?
We had
We had
2 in a
two.
row.
And it was Proteus and what was
Butcher.
the other one? Butcher.
Butcher.
Oh, Butcher was
That was silly. That was silliness.
so much charging, so much meat.
Yeah, but it was fun to play that weekend because that's the best internet connection I've had in a really long time. So
You're welcome.
low fake. All right, real quick here before we get into the news, we have a patron correction. I gave the wrong Zord name last week, and I apologize, but I will rectify it, and I'm gonna even play the music again for it. You have been deemed worthy of bearing the Zord title. Welcome to the Zord Lords. Dixo Zord, welcome to the Zord Lords. We appreciate it. And just a reminder, if you guys become a patron, what I'm just going to see is your name. So if you have a specific Zord name you would like, just go ahead and shoot us a message there, and I'll make sure and try. Wow. I'll try and say try correctly, and then I will also try and get the right Zord title for you guys. But let's go ahead and hop into the news. First up, I see it on the horizon. I can't quite tell when I'm going to get there, but it's Lords of the Lane 7 coming at the end of this month. We will have more details as far as date and whatnot next week, but it is here. It will be in August.
Yep. You thought we
that's
forgot, but we didn't. We got
Sure
all
did.
sorts of cool stuff lined up for this one. This is fun.
Yeah, it's
I'm
actually going to be a
excited.
solid one. Prizes are through the roof this time.
Yes.
Yes.
You're gonna want to win first place this time. Not that you wouldn't
mean, you-
want to
you
win
always
first
wanted
place.
to.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the rest
Right,
of the
right.
times. But you really are gonna want to win first place this time.
Yes, you are. So make sure, again, we'll have a lot of details on that next week so you can get your team signed up. And the $5 tier patrons and above all get first access to those signups. So be watching your emails for that announcement. Also, HGC Cheering is live officially. It went live Monday?
It went live yesterday morning.
Was it yesterday?
So, Tuesday?
I think
Maybe.
it went live Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Okay.
I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, but
All the days are running together. But
Yes,
holy
they are.
crap, did it come out with a bang?
it did.
Yeah.
So the way that it is going to work here, because we kind of had some questions about, how to cheer for what teams. In the chat, where the cheer bit icon would be will now be the Nexicon.
Only on the
Or-
Blizz Heroes channel.
Only on the
Twitch.
Blizz.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Blizz Heroes.
Right.
And that's not the Nexicon. It's the Heroes of the Storm symbol, though. You'll click on that,
The
and that'll bring up
Nexus
a
symbol.
chart. Yeah, with all the teams. You can then choose your team and be able to get bits or choose the number of bits wanting to cheer, and it'll pop up in chat there. It has a nice page that keeps track of your progress. There's a little check progress button there to see where you are for certain teams, where you are overall, where the global progress is at, and yeah, there have been a lot of cheers happening already.
Yes.
So,
So how much money has been raised through this so far, roughly?
So this is pretty insane. So I just double checked. It did go live yesterday, and
Okay.
since yesterday morning, people have cheered 3,165,000, give or take, bits.
Is
which
that 30,000?
is the equivalent of about $31,000.
Yeah.
$31,000 in 2 days. And this is for a rerun of the mid-season brawl that's being broadcast on the Heroes channel right now.
Right. So the real excitement hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, the real excitement doesn't
I
start
haven't
until
done
Friday.
any bits yet. So, yeah, wow.
So I grabbed a few. I grabbed 1,500 bits, which is like $20. and I went ahead and got so each of the 32 teams you can cheer for. Sadly, sorry, minor regions. There's no cheering for minor regions. Kind of makes it makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
I can understand, I guess, because maybe stability, I don't know. But there's a few big teams in minor regions. I don't know.
Well, that's probably just because a lot of giveaways and stuff that happen, country regulations do not allow certain things. So
Yeah, it even
Oh,
says
maybe.
on the page, Battle.net accounts of China-based users are not eligible to unlock items from this program. So there's country regulations, sadly. But so you can see the team cheering. There's 32 teams. Every team has a 0 of 6. There's 6 different items you can get. For 100 bits, you get a team portrait. For 250 bits, and this is all cumulative. It's 1,500 bits. It maxes out at 1,500 bits per team. So like, 10, 12 bucks, something like that. Team portrait for 100. Team Twitch emote for 250. Team spray in game for 500. Team Twitch emote again at 750. Team banner in game for 1,000, and then another Team Twitch emote at 1,500. And so,
Yeah.
the goal of this is not necessarily to max out everything. There will be people who do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm glad you have that much money, but this is what this is really meant to do. This is meant for you to pick your 1, 2, 3, whatever teams that you really like, that you really want to support, because half the bits you donate go to that team as far as monetary value.
Correct.
So like for
Yes.
me, I'm 5 out of 6 of Fnatic right now, because I'm rooting for Fnatic. I'm gonna probably throw in some for Tempo Storm
Sure.
as well, because
It's interesting to see the breakdown. There's already some team leaderboards showing up on here.
yep,
Yeah.
And just to see, looks like Roll20 and Dig are at the top, and then everyone else is a good almost at least 10,000, or not, that's not even 10,000. That's 100,000
Yeah.
bits.
Team Freedom.
I
is
can't
number,
even count my commas if they aren't in there.
Yeah, Team Freedom's number 8, and they're at 92,000 bits. So
Yeah,
right.
I mean, the top teams are getting a lot of bits, and of course, these are the very popular teams: Roll20, Dignitas, Fnatic, Tempo, MVP Black, Liquid, Gale Force, Freedom, and so. But I mean, up at the top, like I said, 2 days, Roll20 has been cheered 535,000 bits, which means that people have already donated, and I assume that I don't know if I assume that means they get half that, because Blizzard gets half and the team gets half.
Did you say 535?
535,000.
Literally, in the time we've been talking about this, they have received 6,000 more bits.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Wow.
So I mean, Roll20 for the from an org perspective has already gotten in the first 2 days roughly $2,500 of extra money.
And is Roll20, correct me on this, is it really that well known of an org, across other esports? Or are they kind of...
No, this is their first esport.
I was about to say, so that's
They're
good
actually
news
a
for them.
D&D, an online D&D.
Right. I
facilitator.
think I remember hearing that. So, yeah, very interesting. One more point to point out, too. Obviously, if you get signed up in this at all, you get a shot at the global progress. And, man, I mean, if we're already clearing 3 million and the first reward is that 10 million, I think we could hit it pretty quick here. So it's at least worth throwing in something, in my mind.
Yeah. So the global progress is really interesting because the minimum bits that you can cheer is 100.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know region-wise how this works, but you can watch ads on Twitch for free bits. That's one of the options.
ad.
What was that?
It's like 5 bits per ad.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So technically you can watch ads to get your 100 bits if you don't want to spend anything, but want to be entered in that global, because as soon as you do 100 bits, you are entered into that global progress. And there's 3 mounts that you can get, HGC mounts, at 10 million, 20 million, and 30 million.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, is crazy. That's $100,000 at 10 million bits.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the question still lingering that at least I haven't seen an answer for is how long is this progress, like the global progress, going to go?
So my guess is, from what I've been able to tell, the global progress is going to run until the end of the season. They haven't specified, since this is just happening mid-season, of course. They haven't specified whether the global progress is going to be per phase or per year.
Yeah.
And the other thing that, and some people are getting up in arms about, and come on, people, don't get up in arms about this. It's ridiculous. Is the personal progress. And I can understand it a little bit. So right now, the personal progress goes up to like $750.
Which there have been people
So
shell out. So
75,000 bits.
Yeah.
That's so this is kind of insane. And so they haven't clarified this yet. They haven't clarified whether this overall progress for you is going to be lifetime or per phase or per year.
This almost feels lifetime. To get that in a year, I mean, I guess some people have the money for it, but
the thing, and I was talking to somebody about this today, and the thing is, if you're gonna have, if this overall, your personal progress is gonna be per phase or per year, you might as well not show anything past the next reward.
Yeah.
Until you hit it, because just looking at this, 95% of the people will never be able to hit this.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, the wolf mount, which is the thing people have really been talking about. I think monetarily, the cheapest you can get that wolf mount is like $112, $120 some dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is.
I mean, I could pull it
wolf.
off. My wife would just kill me. That's the only difference.
So the thing is, though, if it is a lifetime, what do the people have to look forward to that have already hit that goal?
I'm sure they'll add more. Like, I'm sure it's just going to be one of those things where if it is lifetime, every phase, they'll add another set of goals.
That could be cool.
Or something like that. But I would hope, and I mean, people still take screenshots, it'll still get around, but I would hope on average that they wouldn't show the next set of goals until you hit the first set.
Yeah, because that is
because it just looks bad.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, just looking at it right now, it looks bad right now. For me as a person, and especially for the type of people who are the I have to get everything type people, or I have to collect everything, even that wolf mount seems like a pretty lofty goal at $120 some dollars.
Oh yeah.
I might shear $120 some dollars over the course of a year or two.
Yeah.
But there's no way I'm gonna hit that wolf mount this year. No way. Like,
still $120 over a year. I mean, that's
still a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, that's still a lot, because this is just esports stuff. This isn't any
$10 a month.
Yeah, this isn't even
not in.
Yeah, it's most. I mean, you get some loot chests and stuff, so technically there is some in-game stuff, but
True.
it's not like I'm buying new heroes. It's not like I'm buying new skins. I'm getting loot boxes. I'm getting Twitch emotes.
And you could probably buy a ton more loot boxes if you just bought loot boxes.
If you just bought some loot boxes. And I mean, that's kind of the point of this whole thing, right? I mean, you have to come at this with a mindset of, we've been provided all this HGC content for free. Like, this has been totally free that Blizzard has provided, like, esports entertainment. That's awesome.
True.
And so this is basically a way that we can give back to that and say, thank you, Blizzard. This entertainment is worth my time and my money. And so it's kind of like a humble bundle, right? I don't have to give anything for it, but I choose to give a certain amount. And by doing so, not only do I give to Blizzard so that they know that people are enjoying this, watching this, they get an additional revenue stream for Heroes of the Storm, right?
Mhm.
I can also support my favorite org too, just like buying a ticket to a baseball game or a football game to support my favorite team.
Yeah, and in a way, we're thanking them for all the work and effort they're putting into, like, making the scene what it is too. So, I mean, yeah. Absolutely.
So, I mean, other than the personal goal, which is a little wonky, and I think it needs to be clarified as to what the time limit on that is for sure. And if it's not a lifetime time limit, I think it needs to be relooked at or rejiggered so that you don't see all those things, because it is pretty overwhelming. Other than that, I think this is a slam dunk. Like, I think this is absolutely one of the best ways they could have done this. It's cool because it gets you kind of excited in Twitch, and I'm really pumped to see the Western Clash this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and to watch the Twitch chat when big plays happen, and all of a sudden just like boom, 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 just like hundreds and thousands of cheers going out for the team that's making the big plays. Because that's what this is about, right? It's more, I mean, people are just cheering right now, but it's really more about, you get those bits and then you're watching live and then you're like, yeah, good job, Fnatic. Way to team wipe or something. I'm going to cheer 500 for you.
Yeah.
And I hope we see a lot of that, because that would add to the experience for sure. I'm sure that was the initial thought.
But yeah, I completely agree that this is the coolest way I've seen to be able to support individual teams. We still, like we talked last week, would like to see something to increase to the prize pool. I know we had several ideas over that about, in-game purchases and things.
Right.
But it is neat. The other thing with the personal stuff that I'll just mention real quick is, as far as the rewards, they need to actually show you what you're getting, instead of, it's like, oh, it looks like this is a portrait and a banner. Well, I don't know what portrait and banner that is at that amount.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's especially the people who are just like, is this worth? I mean, I guess you shouldn't think of it in terms of, is this worth, because it's more. I'm contradicting it, because it is donating, but that part of you that is just like, I want to get something for my spending,
right,
wants to know what it looks like. And I think the same thing for all the team stuff. We should be able to hover over each icon and get an in-game screenshot picture, preview of what we're gonna get. And it should be known the stuff is not out yet. It says it's coming like late August. I would assume. I would assume potentially the Garage patch has it in it, or maybe the one after that.
Yeah, makes sense. And so they very well could put those icons in there after that. But
they're
for
not
the people
live in game yet.
$750 goal without knowing what you're getting. Props to you.
Teach me how to be you.
It's actually probably more than $750, because bits are $1.40 per 100 with discounts in bigger amounts. So it's probably like 1,000 or something. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. The personal is a lot for sure. It's more than I will be spending anytime soon.
I would have to eat ramen for the rest of the year.
Hey man, you can change up the flavors. Do chili one day,
that's true.
Do chicken the other day. They have that like oven roasted chicken the third day.
And beef. If you support us on Patreon, I can buy some ketchup packets.
That's right.
Go on the ramen.
Oh god.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
I'm feeling sick with the thought.
I don't know. But yeah, so again, that is live. You can go. There are people cheering literally in chat right now for these replays. But speaking of replays, some
good
very
segue.
I know, right? MilkFat has tweeted out, who he's the esports franchise lead for Heroes. The HGC will be on Disney XP starting. This was
Last
yesterday.
Night. Yeah.
2 nights ago, maybe 2 nights ago. It was the 31st.
Oh yeah, yep, 2 nights ago. So, Monday night.
And it's going to be on at 11:30 Eastern. So that is 10:30 Central and 8:30 Pacific.
Yeah.
But every Monday through Friday for the next 2 months. And that is just going to be replays of, I believe what they're doing right now is just a best of fives. And they're going to break it up to be a match a day.
Yep.
So I don't understand or necessarily know what that's going to look like as far as if the games don't go best of five. But
Oh yeah.
No. I guess I would.
Maybe
guess
they would
just-
select ones that are best of 5,
Yeah, maybe.
or that went to 5. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
And okay,
there's
so
several.
first question, what's Disney XP?
Disney has like 100 channels. It's just one of their
Of
channels.
course. Gotcha.
So, isn't it like the Disney Channel's like evening version or something like
Like
that?
Adult
'Cause-
Swim.
yeah, something like that. I don't know. All I know is I don't have it.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I doubt I do as well.
It's a cool thing, right? I mean, it's just another way to get heroes out there. And this comes on the heels of Disney actually announced that they were building a new stadium in their wide world of sports. It's like an 8,000 seat arena that will do a bunch of stuff, but they actually said specifically it will be hosting esports
Awesome.
events. So I put 2 and 2 together today, and I was just like, that would be kind of a cool place for Heroes of the Dorm, or perhaps a Western clash that took place in the U.S.
Could
Yeah.
be cool. Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know.
But what else is cool about this is it's just, who knows what the viewer base is going to be. But if they are only selecting matches that were best of fives, it's really good to kind of catch people who may have never played Heroes or watched esports, to kind of hook them into like throughout the week seeing which team is going to win, because they're only able to watch one per night. So it's just a really cool thing. It's esports on TV. We're back.
Yeah.
Not Facebook.
Disney
Thank you.
technically owns ESPN too. Well,
Oh,
ESPN
man.
TOO. Yes.
Gotcha. That. Did I ever tell you guys? My grandfather actually had a chance to invest in Walt Disney super early on. He came through this area to try to see if he could get like ground level investors in Disney. And my grandfather thought he was just kind of a kook, like a crazy guy, and turned him down. So I could have had a nice little stake in my family there in the Disney franchise.
Wow.
But my
Poor
grandpa
decisions.
turned it down.
Yeah,
Mistakes were made.
Unfortunate. So moving on here, a new in development video did come out like a day or two after last week's show with the Garrosh skins. And what's his Mad
Max.
Garrosh?
Yeah.
Mad Axe?
Yeah,
It's a Mad Max
themed
thing,
one.
and it's amazing. Oh
Eh,
my
it's okay.
goodness.
It's called the Mad Axe Garrosh because it's like he has an axe.
It's okay, but I don't think I like it more than his
What?
base skin. But my favorite skin of his is the I don't remember the name of it, the white one.
The white one's so cool.
I bought it on PTR just to play it. The BlackRock Foundry.
Yes, that one.
Yep.
The
It is
BlackRock
really-
Foundry orc version. It's got like
Yep.
this orange stripe down the middle of his chest, like it's glowing, and it's white and got the black tusk. Oh, it looks so good. Like the black
Yeah,
it's
hand,
pretty-
black hand type
Yeah.
skin.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
But more importantly is not the Garrosh skins. It is the ETC skin.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's
Ah.
incredible. So we have a Marine ETC skin that is coming into the game. Now we just need ETC to enter the game.
Yep, they need to put ETC back into the game.
Yep.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going
They
to.
do.
If you didn't.
They actually in this
well,
set they had a lot of good crossovers, a lot of StarCraft crossovers, but they were I just love the cross IP skins in general,
Yeah, they're
even if
very
it's
good.
coming from StarCraft. So
Cool.
solid
Lee
ones
Ming
here.
skin.
Yeah, the Templar Li Ming was really good, and the Anubalisk.
A Nubalisk.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be like a day one grab for me. Like that.
It's really just like
incredible.
a bigger Zagara, which is whatever. But yeah, super cool.
Or a butcher Lisk like hunched over and grew another pair of legs.
Eventually, we're gonna have a whole Lisk team we can run.
I mean, I think we already do, right? We'll have a full Zerg team.
Oh, well, you can do a full Zerg team. I'm talking about a full team of people that kind of look like Zagara.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 And there's also some sprays and portraits and things like that are always really cool. So make sure and check those out. And those will all most likely be hitting the actual servers Tuesday. So look forward to that. But speaking of PTR, Garrosh is in it along with a lot of other changes. We talked last week a little bit about his kit and the potential we thought it may have. And I think he may live up to that potential. You can do some really crazy stuff with him. I don't know what you guys have been running. Mostly I've been running like his, I don't know what I guess we'd call the piano build.
Yes, me too.
Stuff. And I've been having a blast with him. There's nothing better than... and I will mention I've just been playing on AI because of my ping issues. So it's probably much easier for me, but grabbing somebody and then throwing them over your tower walls is super satisfying.
Very much.
Extremely satisfying. So
Yeah.
a Stitches Garrosh combo. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I could see some dangerous stuff going on there. You know what surprised me the most? I didn't really get this from the initial video, but the fact that Into the Fray is the talent. It's level 7 where you throw the ally. It's totally different cooldown from Wrecking Ball, and it's a piano key. It's a 30-second cooldown, and Wrecking Ball is 16, so a little bit longer. But I did not see that coming. Like I just kind of thought, based on the video, that it would just make your Wrecking Ball count for either, and then you just
like
eat up
Helping
your
Hand.
cooldown. Yeah, like Helping Hand does, exactly, or a toggleable or something. But yeah, no, it's cool that it's separate. This guy's going to be a huge playmaker.
It's going to be awesome. Just like I can picture people being like throwing somebody over terrain to finish off a kill, or like throwing somebody onto a boss capture point at the last second.
Throw the tank over some terrain and then just close in on their back line. Yeah, just whatever.
Again, with my issues in AI, my only reason I was using it was my AI was ticking me off, so I'd throw my AI in to die a horrible death.
Oh, of course.
Which
there's
on quick match as well. So
yeah, there's so much griefing you can do with it. So
TBK, what are your initial thoughts here?
I got a lot of time in with him. It was a ton of fun. I tried several different builds because I have to just say this first. This, from a kit perspective, this is one of the like most fun playmaking kits they've come out with in a long time. Like this guy, unless they nerf him to the ground, is probably going to show up in a large majority of HGC matches. Like he's just that good. His playmaking potential is that big. It's pretty nuts.
Well, I don't see them nerfing him to that degree, and I mean, unless he's just so squishy that he's unplayable.
Yeah,
because like they're not going to change the core of the kit.
Exactly.
I wouldn't think.
There's
at least
so
not
much
for a good
power
long while
built into the kit, just from a playmaking perspective, and not only that, like I said, his talent tree is fantastic, and he's got a lot of very varied different builds that you can go that I think will be very viable in many situations. And specifically his level 7 talent tier is absolutely incredible, and I love it to death. So he's got a talent that, and we talked about what was it? Body check.
Body check's really cool. Yeah.
Body check it's a level 1 talent that you take. It gives you basically an extra basic ability that he can kind of slam into somebody. It's not really a charge, it's melee range, but it slows them, does some damage, does some extra damage depending on where your armor level's at. But it also, if you take it, you open up several more choices throughout your talent tree to upgrade this, which is pretty cool. That's never been done before.
Yeah.
Because those just aren't available if you don't take the body slam move. So at level 7, he's got an upgrade for that, where the person he hits takes like, I think 40% or 30 or 40% less healing for 4 seconds. I'm not looking at it right now. It's somewhere in that range. It's a pretty big deal for single target heal reduction if you take it. If you don't take that though, you still got tons of options like his basic attacks, lowering spell damage, his Q, if you hit the actual hero, lowering their attack speed. And then he's also got, that's the Fling Ally at level 7 as well. So his
Which
level
you can't go wrong with.
Yeah, his level 7 is just incredibly versatile to change up based on the comp you're against or how the match is going and where you think the threats are going to be, which is awesome for a main tank, right? I do have to throw out there, I have an issue with Garrosh. And that is the fact that he is Garrosh.
Yep.
Just don't like him as a person?
No, I love Garrosh.
He loves him, which is the problem.
Hey now, Alliance. You just sit back and you keep your mouth shut.
Don't act like he was good for the Horde. Every Horde people hate him too.
Hashtag, why not, my war chief? Whatever.
They did. The Horde even did turn on him in the Siege of Orgrimmar, and we know this because that lasted what was it, Greg? A year and a half.
It was a long freaking time.
The Horde hated him so much. They were like, "Hey, yo, Alliance, come help us kill this d-bag. He sucks."
For a year and a half.
For a year and a half. It was a long time. But
wait, no.
Okay,
No.
Go
We're
ahead.
about this. And then, if you like Garrosh so much, you should like the Alliance. Because the Horde, Thrall, was going to kill Garrosh, and Varian stepped in and saved him.
But then Thrall killed him anyways.
Yeah, he had
And
to
if
kill him anyway. Spoiler
if
alert.
Varian hadn't freaking stepped in and be like, no, we shouldn't kill him now, we could have saved ourselves an entire expansion.
World of Warcraft would have been done. It would have just ended.
Like, we could have gone straight on to Legion.
Gul'dan would not have come back, though, and would Legion have even happened? There may just be peace.
Yeah. Wow.
World of Peacecraft.
World of Peacecraft.
Jaina, we'd be fighting Dreadlord Jaina.
See?
That's true. We still will. We still will.
Varian freaking delayed Dreadlord Jaina. Wow. But anyway, so it's, like I said, the kit and the talent tree are some of the best they've come out with in a long time. I absolutely love them. My only issue is I don't think it should be a Garrosh kit and talent tree. This talent tree and kit feels like something they made. And so the designers got around, they made this amazing kit, they made this amazing talent tree, and then they got together in a meeting. They're like, we have this awesome kit, this awesome talent tree. Who should we use it for? And the other guys are looking around, they're like, I don't know. And then one of the developers is like, I have a hat. And the other developers is like, I have some paper. And the other developer's like, I have a pen. And so they write a bunch of names down that could be tanks. They throw them in the hat. They shuffle them around. They pick one. Oh, it's Garrosh. Yeah, that sounds great. Give it to Art. Let's go. This kit just feels like it could go on so many different warrior type heroes. Specifically, Grom is who I wanted to point out. Because Grom, from a lore perspective, is much more generic as far as a character goes, and these are super awesome moves, but they're very generic moves. Garrosh, especially with Siege and with Warlords of Draenor, feels like he has so much more personality to him, and so much more ability and variety you could build into him to make him a very unique style hero that if I kind of feel like we're losing out on because he's being given this kit, because none of the Garrosh specific stuff is really encompassed in this kit. There's no Iron Stars. Iron Stars are such a huge part of Garrosh's kit and what he was. The whole Shaw energy thing could have been such an awesome kit for Garrosh as he levels and builds up and gets like this Shaw power or something if you went with a certain ult at level 10 instead of maybe the Iron Star ult or something like that. it just feels like there's so much more character with Garrosh, and the kit is amazing, but it doesn't feel like it encompasses who Garrosh is, or what at least they could have potentially done with him. And this kit should have been given to a more generic-y character like Grom, Hellscream, instead of Garrosh, and then Garrosh saved to do something cooler and something more Garrosh-y. Is that a word? Garrosh-y?
Garrosh-ish?
Lore specific, that feels a little more like Garrosh that we knew from Mists and from Warlords versus generic tank.
I definitely get where you're coming from on this, but I'll say the kit is worth it. Like the kit is so good.
It's an amazing kit.
I almost don't care who they threw it on as long as we get this kit. So really excited about that. Definitely know where you're coming from, though, just in general. The way I think of it, too, is that, these heroes in the Nexus can come from any time period as well. I kind of think of the Jaina in the game as being like a younger Jaina in the sense that, I'm here to help. But in all actuality, we know in this part of Legion in the storyline, she's not here to help anymore. She's actually kind of backed out of that and is getting super pissed and turning into a Dreadlord, as we alluded to. So, maybe I just think of this as maybe an earlier Garrosh before he went down the rabbit hole of accepting the Shah as a power source and going back in time and being my eternal warlord.
And it's a very interesting topic because I had kind of brought that up last week with as far as fitting the fantasy. And there have been a lot of people that went to the forums and stuff that had these complaints. And it was actually Matt Villers went on and made a post about this. I don't have it pulled up in front of me here. But he went on to talk about kind of what you were talking about. It's, not necessarily the Garrosh that we currently know. I don't remember far back. I wasn't into lore back in Wrath of the Lich King when Garrosh was introduced, so I don't know old Garrosh. I know...
Oh, he was BC.
Garrosh. Yeah, Burning Crusade, that's right.
Yeah.
He was around.
So
he didn't do much, so he was kind of generic in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. But he also went on to, kind of saying that if he asked 100 people to come up with a Garrosh kit, every single one of them would be different. And then another interesting point was when it comes to designing heroes that have been boss fights. And he said he had this difficulty when he was designing Malthael because all of those abilities we know are designed to be avoidable because it's a boss fight. And that's not fun. While sure, there's some tweaks and stuff that can be made to make it, more of a skill shot and less avoidable. Absolutely. And maybe they toyed around with some of that stuff, but in the end, this is kind of what they settled on. And really, if you think about it, this does kind of line up with the fantasy of Hearthstone Garrosh.
Ugh.
Sure.
Ugh.
Greetings.
I'm just saying, obviously, with the armor up and Decimate, kind of reminds me of some of his abilities.
Yeah, kind of. The armor up, that it's 2 armor per health missing, kind of fills a little bit of the Hearthstone fantasy. I will level the complaint, though, that I still don't think that this game in general represents Hearthstone well enough. There's really not a lot of Hearthstone-specific content in the game. By that I mean we've got the Hearthstone card mount, and there's some portraits of the different hero faces. But really, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if we level this complaint against Blizzard, they might say, oh, but a lot of the Hearthstone heroes are in the game, like Valyria and Jaina and Uther, etc. But those are so representative of how they are in Warcraft. And they might have some voice lines that allude to Hearthstone and do a little tongue-in-cheek action there. But, unless one of Rexar's abilities is to randomly choose between Misha, Leok, and Huffer for, 3 mana, and he throws the card down, and one of those animals comes out, and then he's able to micro from there, and that sort of thing. Unless that sort of thing happens, I still don't feel like we have a true Hearthstone hero in the game. And that's kind of weird to me, given, how many people... Yeah, so there you go. We're back to patches, right? We're back to the Innkeeper. We're back to any of the specific ones. I mean, at the League of Explorers guys would be really cool.
Yeah.
Sir Finley, Archthief for Fom. There's just so much they could do, and we just
Harrison
haven't seen it.
Jones.
Harrison Jones. Well, he was in World of Warcraft
That's
originally,
true.
but another
he
one.
would be
I
pretty
think
cool,
it'd be
yeah.
some work with. So, I'm hoping it's all because they're working so hard on my idea for the Innkeeper that it's just taking forever, and it's going to be the BlizzCon announcement. But that's just again me hoping.
Yeah.
But
So, and I do agree that this kit probably would have fit better on some different heroes. But realistically, Blizzard is not going to nail every single time when it comes to fantasy. What they have been delivering on is the most important aspect, and that is gameplay.
Sure.
Is
Right.
it fun to play?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
And
Gosh,
I
yes,
completely agree with that. Like I said,
Yeah.
I have absolutely zero complaints for the talent tier or the kit. They're incredible. But it's just going to be one of those we'll have to agree to disagree type things with them as far as who they put the kit on. And
sure.
it's just one of those things that every once in a while, like you said, they normally nail it. But every once in a while, like they have the Widowmaker Nova skin, and people are just like, they won't be able to do Widowmaker now. That's probably not true. They probably could do Widowmaker, but that skin may have moved Widowmaker down the priority a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things where, like, yes, this is an awesome kit. Yeah, Garrosh, it still works, but I feel like they potentially left something on the table that they could have done with Garrosh that is not possible now because they didn't put this kit on Grom or something like that. So that's just, I think that's the mindset I view it from. But regardless, like you said, from a gameplay standpoint, it's incredible. It's super fun.
And I mean, I agree with everything you said, certainly, but I still kind of feel like Garrosh when I'm playing him. I mean, he gets in there and he's shouting things like, I lead from the front, and they just get in and start hacking and slashing people with Gorehowl. Like, I feel like that fits his personality a little bit. Just kind of reckless.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those interesting things. This is the last thing I'll say on it, and then we can move on.
Sure.
That I would love to just be like a fly in the corner throughout the development of a hero, especially in a situation like this, because who knows? Initially, maybe they were trying to do some sort of Siege of Orgrimmar, Garrosh, and maybe abilities just weren't fun enough. Maybe they couldn't think of how they would fit in the current game still. And as we know, when they're releasing heroes, sure, they're working on a lot of heroes at a time and thinking of what type of heroes do they need in the game, things like that. I don't think they would ever admit to it, but maybe Garrosh is something that wasn't working out the way they wanted to with the Siege of Orgrimmar.
Yeah.
And maybe they're like, we kind of need another, we haven't had a World of Warcraft single tank in a while. This, these abilities we've been working on, they kind of fit on let's put it on there, and bam. Which is, again, they don't do it all the time, and I'm not saying they did it this time, but
It would be interesting
It's working.
to know some of the history.
Well, I mean, think about all the
Yeah,
crazy
for sure.
things that Nate Lamouget told us about Stukov and his resurrection ultimates and that sort of thing. So, I mean, yeah, they probably tried some crazy stuff, and you're right, it may have just not worked. So,
All right, so let's move on to some other stuff in the PTR right now. Some big things in the user interface.
Yes.
First is
Yes.
the armor indicators. So the armor buff and debuff indicators have been added next to hero health bars, and it's very obvious, and it's well done. I enjoy.
So
I haven't
well done.
seen
You see the exact
yeah.
amount of armor that is buffed or debuffed now.
and this is what I was alluding to at the top of the show. This is so exciting. It seems to be not only on the health bar there, but a bigger one down in your lower left-hand corner. And it's super genius of them to put this in this patch as well, because obviously armor is a big deal on Garrosh himself.
Mm-hmm.
It fluctuates so much based on what his health total is. And it's even kind of weird to see, like, as you use, what's the ability called again? His W?
I was,
Bloodthirst. As you
Bloodthirst.
use that, you lose armor. because you're gaining
Yeah,
health. So
yeah.
it's just kind of like I'm glad that they brought it in, first of all, because it was actually one of our repeated, most requested things. And then secondly, in this patch, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It'll make playing Garrosh easier.
And actually, a little early tip, I found that heal over time type healers actually work out really well with Garrosh, because
Ooh, I
you
can see
don't
that.
lose the armor as fast while you're getting healed, because until the heal actually fully makes it, you still keep that armor from missing health.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I found that worked out really well in some of the games I played.
I could see that.
All right. Another big change here, cursor cooldown notifications. So this is an option you can go in to choose to display, and it's going to show ability cooldown indicators near your mouse cursor. So you don't have to look down.
Did you
like
try
you're in the
this
middle of
out?
a fight and things like that. I have not tried it out. I've seen
Okay.
videos of it.
Yeah, it's interesting how it works. So it doesn't like throw all three of your abilities next to your mouse
That'd be
or
too
something.
much.
If
Next one coming off cooldown.
if from the way I saw it working, if I use an ability, let's say I use my Q, and then I try to hit my Q again before the cooldown's off, it'll flash the exact amount of cooldown left for my Q right next to my mouse cursor for a second and then disappear. So that I can
That could be
see
useful.
instantly, oh, my Q's still got so-and-so left.
Huh.
So it only
That's-
seemed
yeah,
to appear when my ability was on cooldown and I tried to use that ability again before it was off cooldown. It would flash, "Hey, dude, you've still got 3 seconds left on your Q," or whatever.
Now, does this clutter your view at all, or is it pretty good? Okay.
It's very
small.
it's very natural right next to your cursor, and it doesn't stay there for very long.
Okay. Couldn't
Another,
hurt.
another big change here to in-game chat. The in-game chat box can now be moved by clicking and dragging the directional arrow. So you can move that from out of the middle of your screen now. There is in-game chat history can now be accessed from page up, page down, and timestamps have been added to the display in-game before the chat messages. So those are really useful for, a lot of times somebody will say something, chat disappears, somebody will say something else, but you'll see that message still. So now if somebody is saying like, oh, go boss, and somebody missed it, and that was 2 minutes ago, and now somebody said something else, like, okay,
Right.
run the boss 2 minutes later and get killed. And
you get the little hero portrait now instead of the hero name. So you see,
which is cool.
You see, if Garrosh sends a message, you see the Garrosh face next to the message instead of.
But
actually saying
TBK,
the
aren't
name.
there like 5 orcs in the game now? How can we tell them apart?
He's the
Orange one.
orange one.
he has the 5 o'clock shadow.
There you go. Sounds good.
Which is really funny that you mentioned that, because there was a bug on PTR that showed all the heroes in the store with mustaches.
Oh, really?
Yes. It is. There's some screenshots on Reddit. It's hilarious.
That's pretty good.
This is a pretty buggy ETR, now that you mention it.
There's been quite a few things. I ran into a few last night or Monday
The
night
big
too.
one I've run into is mounted, not able to interact with anything, like healing fountains, entering mines,
Oh, wow.
starting channels. So
Yeah, it's a little wonky. Hopefully their bug fixing is on point for the live release.
yeah,
Tuesday.
so maybe that's something that, because that is a big bug. So potentially, I don't think we've seen like a big patch pushed back because of bugs like that. So keep our eye
For
on
a
it.
long time at least.
Right.
Yeah. Map rotation update. We did it, guys. Hanamura is gone. TBK,
gone.
I know you had some thoughts.
I did, because it was funny because me and Multi got together for lunch because we work at the same place.
That we did.
Today, and we were talking about Hanamura a little bit, and I know we talked about Hanamura quite a bit last episode, and some of our problems with it and stuff. It's nice to see it out of the rank rotation finally. It had been in there for quite a while. There's even been talk of, since the sappers have been taken out, some teams who have gotten super far ahead have basically held the other team hostage on Hanamura by not turning in their last payload and just farming the XP for like 15, 20 plus extra minutes, which is
just making the enemy team wait for it to draw out your own XP.
Terrible.
It's almost bullying.
Yeah, and so it's nice that it's finally been pulled from rank rotation. The really interesting thing is, what will they do with it, right? Will they try and just tweak it again, or will they say there's too many gameplay issues, let's go back to the drawing board and redo the gameplay aspect of it?
Yeah, so we were talking about this at lunch, and we were just spitballing ideas. You and I had gone back and forth. Like, the push and pull of one cart, like just one payload, like if you're on a team, if your team's on it, it pushes one direction. If their team's on it, it pushes the other, and it stops if you're both on it. Seems a little boring, but TBK, I think it was you who came up with the idea, carrying over from World of Warcraft's Silver Shard mines.
Yeah.
As a concept, where maybe they all spawn in a central location, and you have to go get control of them before they turn in. Like, so there could be something to that, and it's working in WoW well enough. Yeah. I mean, I like that battleground. So
my whole thing from a gameplay is, if you look at every other map has the objective does something to singularly bring teams together. The problem with Hanamura is that you can have up to 4 payloads out at the same time. And so there's very little reason for you to ever fully commit or ever fully team fight or ever fully, all be in the same place. Whereas Cursed Hall, you got tributes. Dragonshire, you got the shrines.
Right.
Braxis, you got your control points. And Sky Temple, you got the temples. There's a reason to pull people together. Whereas right now, there's a reason for you to go do your own thing on Hanamura, and potentially 4 of your own things. Just right. Between if all 4 payloads are up at the same time, and maybe occasionally you meet and there's a little skirmish, or maybe if you're really far ahead, both of yours are in, you're just blocking the other team's payload. Why not change it to where 1 payload spawns at a time? It spawns randomly in the middle somewhere. Top, bottom, middle. There could be 3, there could be 4 different spots. And it's neutral, and you have to push it. You have to go take control of it, and you have to push it. And then that winning team gets a shot. You can still get extra shots from, killing the forts or whatever. And so if for some reason your team for that specific payload is down a few people, or you lose the fight or something, there's still other things you can do. You can take mercenary camps, you can push the enemy's fort while they're pushing their payload, and if they bring people down, then maybe you can sneak people back up and start killing them, and you might have to lower the HP you need to get a win if only 1 payload spawning at a time, because you wouldn't want them constantly up or anything. But I think there's a potential gameplay idea there. The whole point really is making teams have something to fight over, a central gameplay hook that just doesn't exist on Hanamura now. And maybe while you're at it, make the mercs push, because it would be fun to see those mercs push, because they're really awesome. And it made me a little sad when I found out you just killed them and they didn't actually push the lane. That'd be really cool too.
It's funny that you guys were talking about Silver Shard Mines, because I've actually been thinking about Silver Shard Mines myself in Hanamura. Because the thing you would have to watch out with if you go down to 1 and it being a neutral that you're fighting over, you would have to turn it into like a tug of war, to where you're pushing it to a point on your opponent's side and they're trying to push it to a point on your side. Because if it turns into something where it's just on a set path and it's the team that has control of it, while when it enters or hits that point, then that's also going to disincentivize people wanting to push it initially, because let the other team push it, we'll soak experience and go kill them. right, when it's getting close to the point. So yeah, there's a lot of different things I think that can be done, but it's one of those things. We'll just have to see if it does get to that point where it's going to have to be a big change like that.
Yeah.
Or if they figure out some way to balance it in its current state, but at least it's out of ranked.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good pull.
Yeah. Okay. Hero changes. We have two big ones to talk about here. And that is Ragnaros and the Butcher. And I'm going to talk about Butcher first just because I think I relate to this change more just because I played a lot more Butcher back in my day than I have of Ragnaros.
Mm-hmm.
His stats here, his basic attack damage has been lowered from 140 to 130, and a lot of changes to his trait Fresh Meat. So the meat required to complete his quest is being increased from 125 to 200. Damage bonus per meat stat decreased from 1 to 0.5. Meat dropped by enemy heroes increased from 5 to 25. Bonus damage on quest completion increased from 100 to 125. And once the quest is complete, enemy heroes continue to drop meat, giving the Butcher 5 permanent basic attack damage per meat collected. Going along with this...
Crazy.
Yeah, Abattoir, level 1 talent that's like almost insta-pick, has been removed.
Yeah.
So
just
this,
built in, pretty much now.
This is completely changing the way you play the Butcher in the first half of the game. So typically, you would have a lot of people, during objectives, first couple objectives, your team kind of plays passively because typically Butcher would be in lane, soaking bloods to hit that 125. At this point, now with the increase to 200, that's a lot more minion waves. That's going to take a lot longer if you continue to do it that way. However, now you're getting 5 times the amount for killing a hero. So this is going to encourage, it's probably going to get rid of Butcher on, I would think, quite a few maps, and more bring him in on like the 2-lane maps or maps with really small jungles. He's going to be rotating a lot, looking for those ganks. And if he's successful, going to complete that quest really early and be quite the menace. But it is going to increase his skill cap, I think. A lot of people are not going to be able to complete that quest quick enough. And It's going to be just really interesting, like really, really interesting. I believe his damage is going to come out to about the same with all the changes. It's just pretty much changing how you complete that quest. So
he's a decent ganker, though. I mean, he's terrifying to come up behind you out of the bushes, charging in and stunning you and ripping your head off. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited to get in there. Playing him in that crazy Tin Butcher match kind of got me back. My scratch my Butcher itch, and I kind of want to play him some more now. TBK, I know you play a lot of Ragnaros, or played a lot of Ragnaros, so I will let you talk about his changes.
I wanted to touch on Butcher real fast.
Okay.
Because it's kind of because there's a few really interesting things that are coming out of this. I don't think Butcher right now has a very high win rate, one of the highest on HOTS logs, especially in lower level games, because there's a lot less coordination, and where there's little coordination, Butcher shines ridiculous.
This surprises me with how many of them I see just charge and die at towers and stuff. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, apparently you can get away with it. But
apparently
this change is going to make him, I think, even higher risk, higher reward type hero, because if you don't get those early kills, farming is not really an option anymore. Like if you don't have this quest done pretty much by like level 10 or so, you will be extremely gimped throughout the rest of the game, most likely. So it's just one of those, how Illidan feels bad when you get behind as a team. Butcher's going to feel really bad if you get behind, because he's going to be missing so much damage ability. But he's going to be an absolute terror if he gets those early kills, because you need 8. 8 kills will get you a full stack.
Yeah, and it's not just completing the quest to get the bonus damage. Like, the earlier you complete this quest, you're gonna be insane late game.
Yeah, because
from 5 the basic attack
build
damage.
up to 5 every time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So wait a second. Once the quest is completed, enemy heroes continue to drop meat. Do they continue to drop 25?
No, so it's just meat, and for
Just
each
single meats.
kill, you're just gonna get 5 permanent basic attack damage.
Okay, because that was a little ambiguous.
Right.
Because
you know what?
If heroes still drop 25, that would be 25 times 5. Because if they drop 25 meat and you get 5 permanent basic attack damage per meat, maybe it's just worded poorly.
Yeah, I think it is, because
that seems ridiculous.
10,000
It's probably
basic damage.
Yeah, it's probably 5.
Just one shots the core.
Yeah, 5 basic attack damage probably per extra kill beyond the 8 when you stack, or whenever you stack a quest. So
I don't know. It could be somewhere in between that, because I mean, it would take then 2 kills for you to make up for just the nerf to his basic attack damage out the gate. It's gone down 10, so we'd have to complete the quest and then get 2 kills to even get back to where it is now. So maybe there is something to that. I'm not sure how the math works out.
You're getting bonus damage on quest completion, 25 extra.
Yeah.
So that makes up for
true,
the
too.
basic attack damage and for some of the attack damage that you're missing from the 125 to 200 needed.
Good point.
Because that decreased from 1 to 0.5 per meat. But yeah, like I said, it's the one thing I saw a lot of people bemoaning, J-House specifically, I was talking to him about this, is that this in essence will kill the ability for Butcher to be played at a pro scene, or at the pro level, because the average deaths in a pro game are between 10 and 14 total.
True.
And so
they're just so good at covering
people just don't
each other and
die.
escaping.
Yeah,
exactly.
People just don't die as often. And so because of that, this new Butcher will have a very hard time if you wanted to play him. I don't know. Some team may go and prove us wrong on that, but it does, in theory, seem like it kind of removes him from a pro level play. I don't think it's going to affect his win rate at most levels that he is right now. It's really interesting though. I wish there were some dev comments on this one.
Yeah,
this is the one
because
this is such a huge trait change. Like, I really wish they had given their, like, this is our thoughts about where he is now, and this is our reasoning for doing this. Because I see it. I see the reasoning. They want him to be a player hunter. You don't want a Butcher just sitting in lane farming things. Like,
makes sense.
I totally understand that. That's not fun. Butcher is I want to go kill people hero. Now this like incentivizes much more the go kill people aspect of him,
which is cool from like a fantasy standpoint.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like you said, Greg, it'll be interesting to see where it lands. Maybe the official notes will give us some dev.
Yeah, I was gonna say there might be some additions then, so we'll see.
Maybe some Gary Butcher comps coming up here, Gank Squads.
Oh man, that'd be
brutal.
Oh, so fun, so fun. I just love Wrecking Ball. Is just one of my new favorite things, like, in the entire world. It's so much fun.
So good.
It takes a little bit to get used to, but it is a riot.
Think about it though, like, you have Garrosh in a lane, Butcher hiding in a bush. If you're on comms, you Wrecking Ball as you're charging, so it completely displaces them, and then you have another pullback. It's insta kill.
Or I mean, even you Butcher charge to nail the person in place, and then from that you Groundbreaker to a Wrecking Ball.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's especially my new favorite talent at level 1 was the increased range on Wrecking Ball, and woo, man, you can chuck some people like that. That is so fun. Anyways, yes, Ragnaros got some changes. Specifically, were some tweaks and some little buffs to his W and E builds, which is great, right? Because those builds have been fairly subpar for a while. They reduced the cooldown on his basic blast weave from 10 to 9 seconds. They did reduce his W damage from 72 to 68, which, interestingly enough, will probably nerf his Q a little bit. Like, why would it nerf his Q? Well, you use your W to get the minions low enough. To get your Q
so
off.
that you can then.
And so now, losing some of that damage, you may have to hit them a little more. You may have to put in an extra auto attack to get a wave down. It may not hurt it, but it's potential, right? But at level 1, they did add additional functionality to Shifting Meteor, which is the one after you hit enough people, it allows you to redirect it, which is pretty cool. So now each time an enemy is hit by Living Meteor, they take an additional 3% damage from subsequent hits by the same meteor. So if you were rocking like an awesome Ragnaros, you got your quest done, you're like moving that ball of fire around, you could probably stack up some decent damage.
Yeah.
On that. Engulfing Flame at level 1, it no longer grants cooldown reduction on Blast Wave, but it also increases the damage of Blast Wave by 75%. So more AoE damage.
Substantial. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's kind of making up for it, maybe even helping out your Q a little bit again, too.
Yeah. But you wouldn't be stacking, I guess.
You wouldn't be taking the talent for it. Yeah, exactly. Good point.
So he gets a new talent at level 7 called Blistering Attacks. And every 10 seconds, your next basic attack deals 60% bonus damage. Enemies hit by your basic abilities reduce this cooldown by 1 second.
That's a really interesting
It's
talent.
like a follow-through, like a Ragnarosi follow-through type
Yeah.
thing.
And
I'm
you
gonna
could
have to
hit
play
a lot
around
of
with
it. You could hit a lot of people with your abilities. I mean, think about just one W going out there, right?
Yeah, especially if you
and
have
is it
Shifting
tick-
Meteor.
Yeah, is that like per tick? It's going to reduce.
I was
cost?
wondering that too.
That's
I
a good
doubt it's
question.
per
I
tick.
doubt it because Shifting or Living Meteor ticks really fast.
So fast. Yeah, yeah. So, no, I'm guessing it's per connection there, but we'll have to test that out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even so, drop it in the middle of a dense enemy team and you got some extra auto attack damage going through.
Yeah.
I like it.
Molten Power level 7 damage bonus increased from 15 to 20% per enemy hero hit. That's cool. This is the big one though. Lava Surge. So Lava Wave, I've always loved Lava Wave. It's not as flashy as Sulfurous Smash, but it is so incredibly helpful for carrying a team in a way, because the XP you can rack up from that and just the lane pressure you can either relieve or put on the enemy team from it is insane.
Yep.
And so his level 20 Lava Surge gives you a second charge. So now cooldown reduction has been increased from 10 seconds per wave to 30 seconds per wave. So now you can literally keep a wave perma-cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like giving you another keep almost, but an unkillable keep.
Yeah. It's pretty
In a way.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So I'm very excited to play around with that one a little bit, but especially on big maps, that could be huge.
Big maps, or again, maps where clearing the wave is super important.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Braxis for defense and that sort of thing. So, I don't know. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I like it. It's always fun to get some Ragnaros tweaks. So, worth trying out W build probably. See how that goes.
Yeah, so those are the two big changes. There's a few other small changes. If you guys want to take a look at those, we will have those in the show notes here. But yeah, and don't forget, it's worth mentioning not only to get in there and try these changes out, just don't forget that you do earn those. There's the PTR quests where you can earn the gems for PTR, and try out some more stuff.
Just play 3 games. That's all you got to do, even if they're AI.
Indeed. All right. So let's go ahead and move on into the HGC. Okie dokie. So we talked a little bit about Western Clash last week, but it is this weekend. So TBK, take it away.
Are you ready to get your cheer on, guys?
Oh, I sure
What's-
am.
What's a cheer?
Like we've talked about it for almost an hour over the last 2 weeks, probably.
I'm ready. I'm excited. This is going to be a big one, especially considering that Team Dignitas will not be there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is their first big LAN they've missed in basically forever.
Yeah, Roll20 as well.
Yeah, Roll20 didn't make it either,
Since HG. Oh.
which is surprising considering they're leading the cheer.
I was about to say they're the top of
standings.
mid earners so far, but
Yeah, I mean, good
people
for
are watching
them.
the replays, I guess.
Good for
I
them.
wonder how many of those people that are cheering realize or don't realize that that's just a replay.
That's a good question.
I mean,
Hmm.
it does
I mean, we
say
can still cheer for those
Mid-Season
teams.
Brawl
It's
Replay
totally
is the
fine.
name of the channel, so
I don't look at channel names a lot, you know.
maybe.
I will say I was extremely confused when cheering went live because I keep getting these Blizz Heroes is now live. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
That was
Anyways,
it.
continue, sir.
First off, real quick, Open Division participants. So those of you who are playing in the NA or EU Open Division, Blizzard is adding rewards for everyone participating in the Open Division. Beginning with the 4th European Open Division Cup, all players in every Open Division Cup tournament will now receive loot chests for their participation. All players that complete their allocated matches throughout each cup will receive a common loot chest, and all players that make it to the top 8 each week will receive one epic loot chest. So,
Yeah.
it's
Cool.
freebie. It's just a freebie. Like, if you're going to be doing it anyways, you get a loot chest.
Mhm.
If you're a pretty
An
good
extra
team,
incentive
you
to
get
check it
2
out.
loot chests.
Yeah.
So,
Zord Lords entering the open division.
oh
yeah.
yeah. Got to get that common loot chest. That's a big deal.
Can we play as 5 butchers during it? Because I think we'd be pretty good.
I agree. Quintuple gank. It'll be
That's right.
roaming squad. It'll be good. Also, in honor of the Western Clash, Gale Force Esports is giving away some pretty sweet merchandise, a GTX 1080 and some Gale Force Esports apparel. You can enter through the link in our show notes.
Yeah, the jersey is signed. Just think that one
Ooh.
through. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or just follow at GFE Sports on Twitter. They've probably got it pinned or up there, so you can check it out.
Yep, and it's one of those deals where you can follow the players, you can follow everything, like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitch, etc., and you get more entries as you do more of that. So, yeah, worth a shot.
And then, of course, the Western Clash itself starts this Friday at crazy early in the morning for most people here. If you are on Pacific time, you will need to get up at 3:20 a.m. to watch Fnatic versus the Red Canids. Central time and Eastern, of course, have it a little better at 5:20 and 6:20 a.m. respectively. But of course, work. That sucks. So, what you
And
gonna do?
sleeping.
And sleeping.
I hope to still be sleeping at that point.
Yes, but it's that's about when it's going to start. All 3 days, depending on your time. Lots of good matches. The nice thing is there's several matches each day, so they'll run throughout the morning and into the afternoon. Like the last set on Friday starts for Central Time at 12:50 p.m., which is nice. So should be able to watch at least some of those live on Friday. Saturday again. It goes from 5:20 a.m. Central through the last set starting at 12:20 p.m. So as long as you get up, reasonably early in the morning, you should be able to catch most of the matches live. And then, of course, Sunday finishing everything up for the final day.
And again, if you can't, if you haven't tried them before, they do such a good job with the VODs in the HGC as well. So you do have a chance to go back and still check it out. No spoilers. It works super well. So if those times don't work for you, especially on that Friday, you have a way, and I recommend it. Mm-hmm.
All right. One thing I think worth mentioning here, just because it's the same issue we've seen popping up over and over again, that's extremely unfortunate. And it has to do with the Eastern Clash, and that is Soul Torturers will be replacing E-Star because of visa issues again.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
I feel so bad for those guys.
It,
That just sucks.
There's
Yeah.
just nothing you can do.
No, I mean you work so hard, and then to have the country deny your visa like that feels bad, man.
These
That-
governments just don't understand esports yet.
one day they will, gosh darn it. So, but again, also make sure to check out, if you check out one game in this first series, my pick again is Gale Force versus Nomia. I think it's going to be amazing. So,
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Right.
really excited to see Nomia. And
Mhm.
apparently Arcaner or Arcaner from Nomia, this is his last tournament with Nomia. He's
Oh,
going
really?
to be moving to EU.
oh
to
yeah,
try and either, I assume, start a new team or get picked up after the split.
But he's super good, so I could see that.
Yeah,
Oh.
so good stuff.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay. So we also have some good stuff here for community content this week. Some really cool articles.
Yes, we actually the Math of the Storm. So these are really cool set of articles by Chaos OS, and they've been doing them for the last several months, really. Basically, if you like math, every new patch that comes out, they analyze in math, and it's pretty awesome. They break down pretty much buffs, nerfs, all the little stuff. I'm linking it in chat. There'll be a link in the show notes. The latest one, of course, is the Garrosh PTR, where they break down Ragnaros. They do a TLDR, like small nerf to Q build, small buff to W&E build, and it breaks down everything, like how the damage changes, how it works with other stuff. You get analysis, level, but like they put in some freaking work
Yeah.
in this, in all of them. Like Butcher, TLDR, Butcher is no longer a farm until 10 hero, now wants to be a roamer ganker. But then it breaks down exactly why and all the numbers and such behind it. So very, very cool deal. These blog posts are on Heroes Hearth. They usually are upvoted on Reddit very highly to the front page of the /r Heroes of the Storm Reddit. So definitely give these a check, give them a follow, because this is really good information, and it's something that I've started glancing at now after every patch to kind of see the math. It's not necessarily this is going to be the best thing all the time, but it gives you a really good idea of where things stand statistically after patches come.
Yeah.
This is a great resource even just for us. So I'm glad you found this and are taking a look at it, because I see now where you got your info about that upgrade to Lava Wave
Yeah.
and how that breaks down. They break it down based on like the minion spawns and how often you're casting it versus when those minion spawns clash and everything. It's just I'm super impressed.
It's way more math than I want to do personally, but I'm so glad somebody does it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and this is the perfect patch to showcase it too. Just with all the changes like happening to Butcher and his basic attacks, seeing exactly how that affects and how it's going to affect late game and when you complete your quest. So we didn't get developer comments this week, but we did get this.
Are you overwhelmed
That's
by
right.
the math, Greg?
I am.
There's so much math. I also wanted to highlight War Dragon drafting the most important part of the game that isn't played, an informative guide to Hero League drafting. Very in-depth, very good Reddit post on just all over drafting, why drafting matters, the need of the team and the individual capability, pick a position. roles that go beyond class, the best possible pick. And it's very long, very informative post. If you're weak on drafting, if you find yourself having to do the drafting in your unranked games or your Hero League games or whatever, the link to this will be in the show notes. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of really good information here. And I think, and this is a part of the game I think that isn't talked about enough, because it can, especially at the highest level for sure, have a massive impact on who has an advantage just going into the game right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think one of the reasons it's not talked about enough is because it gets pretty complicated, you know? I mean...
Yeah, it can be.
It absolutely can be. So, but this does break it down in a nice way. And it's not too long.
And one of the interesting things it points out, and I had never really thought about this, is the fact that why it's such a big deal in Hero, because there are specific hero counters to other counters, whereas in games like Dota and League, yeah, there's counters, but there's also, all heroes can get certain items to make a build, to become a tank, even though you're not really a tank. You can kind of become enough of one for like a quick match. And you
Tank Annie. That's right. Get that Sunfire cape on that little girl. Anyway, go on.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's so true. Like there's a lot of thought that you can go into, and I really like the whole and this is something I was also talking to Jayhow about as far as drafting goes, is he told me he never suggests certain heroes in draft to a player, because you do not know, even if that's the best pick, you do not know if that person can actually play that hero.
Also
what you
true.
do is select roles. Say, oh, we need range DPS. We need a mage. We need, a tank. We need a bruiser. Not necessarily, if they know one that's really meta and really good, that's great. But you never want to assume that they're going to be good with the best pick. Because a lot of times it's much better for them to be on a character or a hero that they're comfortable with, even if they're not the most meta pick in the world, as long as it, fulfills a spot in the team that can help the team out as a whole, rather than getting that meta pick but not being as good with it. Comfortability on your hero will pretty much always trump the meta pick, as long as it's not just something like, I'm a Chromie main, I'm awesome at Chromie, I'm always going to play Chromie, and I'm going to pick Chromie even though we've got a Kael'thas already, or even though we don't have a healer yet on the team. That's different. But as far as like fitting in the role, it's much better to do the hero you're comfortable with rather than the hero that's the best pick, quote unquote.
Yep, and I think this is even more impactful in the first pick. We've seen over time, if someone is particularly good in the meta, like Kael'thas ruled the roost for, I don't even want to know how long. And I can remember being in the first pick, we don't have the ability to swap. It wasn't team league, so we could pick in the order that we wanted to. And yeah, the team would be like, all right, they left Kael'thas open, play him. I'm like, I don't really, to this day, I'm still not great at Kael'thas. So, I mean, I tried it once, I gave in. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll give it a whirl, and then I just didn't perform as well as I could. So,
and
should have gone with Jaina.
For playing Kael'thas.
What was that? Then they flame you for playing.
It's like, well, I didn't
flame you.
Yeah.
I did what you guys told me to do.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, good point though.
Yep. All right, so we do have some time this week to go ahead and get to some emails. Okie dokie, Multi, why don't you go ahead and get our first email here from Wonderbread.
All right, first one's here from Wonderbread, as you just said. Reacting to our interview with Nate Lamouget, he says, after talking to Nate about supports and how many heroes are getting silence abilities, should they go in and give Lucio a counter to silence and or root ability only, so that stuns would still not be countered, but the other heroes would be countered? I found this really interesting. I don't know if we really have a true silence counter right now that I'm thinking of. Obviously, like healing them through the damage that they're taking is a good thing. But I like your idea here in particular because, Lucio is a sound-based hero. So you could kind of get into the fantasy of, like, if someone else is silent, someone, maybe his music powers them to no longer be silenced, like from a fantasy point of view.
But how do they hear it if there's... I guess
well, no, they're silenced. They can't speak. But he causes them to sing again and cast their spells. Yeah.
Draw a step.
Exactly.
Causes them to sing again.
Indeed. So my idea for it was they could bake something like this into his Q, actually. And in that way, like, if your Q cured someone of a silence... I would find that particularly interesting because you're kind of making the decision of, like, all right, do I want to use this Q and save it for a knockback to help them that way, or do I want to clear the silence with it? Naturally, it'd be a talent for the Q that could kind of build this out. But I like the idea of just going up to someone, blasting them with sound to clear them of the silence, and then they can just turn around and continue fighting. So, I think there's a place for this kind of thing. I know from that interview with Nate, he was talking about how they're looking for more things like this for these individual heroes and to make them specialized in these ways. So, yeah, you could be onto something here, man, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's hard for me to grasp. I don't know. I think if they did this, that it may have to be built into like a future hero coming out, or maybe if they do a Lucio rework, it being built into the kit somehow. I'm not sure if it was a talent thing, depending on what the other talents are, if I would ever pick it. Because while silence can be like a big thing, I don't know if it's like a big enough thing.
It'd be pretty niche.
Yeah,
it's because there's not a lot of heroes that have silence.
Like a talent. Like, it'd be weird to build, like, the biggest silence thing would be Sylvanas' arrow. And it would be weird to have one talent to counter that, because like Stukov and stuff, the counter is get out of the thing.
Right.
Get out of the crap.
Locked in. So I don't know. It's weird. I think if silence becomes like a bigger thing, there's more heroes that have a bigger impact silence, then for sure. Mm-hmm. That I just don't know if it's like worth putting a talent, or even if there is that talent, picking that talent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree, though. It's definitely another tool in their toolbox they could have to allow if more silences were brought into the game. But right now it's basically you got Twilight Dream, you got Wailing Arrow, you got Stukov's Lurking Arm, which is a constant silence, so that really wouldn't work for that. And then you've got Alarak.
Yeah.
There might be one or two more, but it's not a lot. So it'd be very niche right now.
You could say the counter to a silence is a silence.
Oh, cause them to just stand there and auto attack as well. Yeah, sure.
Like Malfurion. Like, when that dude's gonna pop it, so you silence him, so he can't silence you.
Whoa, you're getting deep here.
Yeah, it's like it's silenceception.
Silenceception. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's totally viable if more silences get added in game. I don't know if I would add it like you said to a current hero or not, but it could be something we see from another support, or maybe if down the road silences start becoming more prevalent, then maybe a Lucio rework at some point goes back and gives them a talent add. I think I would argue right now, I think the thing that needs the most countering help is we need more shield counters.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's the biggest thing right now. Silences may end up there at some point, but I don't think we're quite there yet with silences that they're a big enough issue that it would be worth having that niche of a thing on a single talent tier on a single hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they did come out with it we should probably have it like 2 heroes at a time, maybe, so that it's not just that you're taking. Like, I'd hate to see Lucio or someone like that be a pick just to counter a silence or like a silence comp. You know what I mean? And no other time. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and we haven't gone through like a silence meta yet, to where like we were in stun meta for such a long time, and so they came out with ways to kind of fix that, and now kind of arguably in a shield-ish type meta with Zarya and Tassadar in the pro scene. So and that's why we've been talking about counters to shields and needing more of them. So who knows? Maybe someday we'll get to that silence meta. We'll see. That'd be really frustrating. Although it'd probably just turn into, like, I guess you can say another counter to silences is auto attack teams.
But, in a way, sure.
Yeah, who knows? Let's go ahead and get to the second question here.
Yep, this question's from Spasm6666. I hope the joke there is that you actually had a spasm and hit 6 too many times. Anyway, so, okay. Question is,
somebody had a spasm multi? Gosh.
Was that?
Nothing.
His evilness is leaking over into Lords of the Storm. I just listened to the lagging balls that he was on today.
Oh yeah, how'd you like that?
I was terrified.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to be alone with you anymore.
Yeah, it's probably not safe. Anyway, so the question is, so okay. People say they are not this rank or that rank. By that we mean, they claim to be a rank that they aren't presently for one reason or another. And especially in lower bronze, escaping out of that rank, in his opinion, is literally a roll of the dice. Is there a definition of what skills define a level? Map awareness, mechanics, hero pool, ability to rotate effectively? Can any skills be mapped to a given tier or range of tiers? And then thank you. So I think you've got the right idea. These are definitely the elements that go into really, honestly, what we're all working on. Improving mechanics, map awareness, hero pool, all that stuff for sure. But the trick about it is, as far as like labeling the tiers with people's abilities in these different areas, I think that's impossible only because everyone has their own sort of home brew of these abilities, if you will. Like some people may be super map aware, but they just don't have great mechanics. Like they just can't really execute or put out good damage numbers. Or someone like on the flip side came over from League, came over from Dota. They've got super good mechanics. Like they are on point with their mechanics, but they just don't like fully understand the maps of heroes and are trying to learn that sort of thing. And so I would think that those two players could be the same rank. They're just there for different reasons. You know what I mean? So like it's really hard to label these different levels in such a way. And I think this is where the perception comes in too, of people thinking that they should be in a rank that they are not. Again, if you want to continue to work on your ranking, it does take some time. But if you are lacking in any one of these areas, improving there will be a huge step forward. So you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's hard for me to speak definitively just because I am the rank I am, so I can't really speak for ranks below or
that's
above.
True too, yeah.
But I have there. I don't remember where I read or listened to a discussion a long time ago. It might have been Kyle Ferguson talking about it. To where I definitely think, of course, there are people who are just naturally going to have better mechanics, or naturally they don't have that coordination but are good at map awareness. But I think there is a kind of tier to work up. From my logic, I think the first things people get in Hero specifically would be getting down mechanics, and sure. Hero pool would be like the bronze league. If you're wanting to work your way out of that, having those good mechanics and a bigger hero pool, to be able to fill kind of carry roles in each position to carry as best as you can. Where my current league is, and you'll find people in all leagues that are going to have crap mechanics or doing weird things with ults. It's just going to blow your mind. But where I am currently, I think it is map mechanics, rotations, when to do certain things.
Sure.
is what the holdup. I'm not. I've never considered myself a shot caller, so it's hard for me to get my way out of this because even though I'm getting to the point where I'm super comfortable on all the maps and I know it should be happening, I kind of have trouble sometimes rallying or getting the team to agree with that. And there's really weird things. I think the biggest holdup a while back was Brax's holdout when that first came out. That took me a long time to figure out the rotations on there, and everyone in the league I was playing with as well in Hero League.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably going to start out with like mechanics and then increasing your hero pool, map awareness, and like map mechanics is kind of the way it works its way up. And drafting is probably like the top end. I don't know, TBK.
No, I think you're onto something. There's definitely a progression of you can get if you have good mechanics and you have good awareness, good mini-map awareness, and a good grasp on a set of heroes that you can play very well, that should, in theory, be able to carry you through some of the lower tiers. Again, the ladder's a grind. It's just a grind for 95% of the people. It's just going to take a while. If your mechanics, your hero use, and your map awareness are at a decent enough level, though, you will rise. Like that's really all you need to get you out of the lower ranks.
Sure.
Once you start hitting the mid and upper tier, though, like Gizmo was alluding to, macro play becomes a much bigger deal. Knowing when to rotate, knowing when to take mercenary camps, knowing objective timers, and those sort of things. And so it's very hard to control in Hero League. You can learn it, you can give the suggestions, but whether people follow it or not is a completely different story. And then I would fall back on the whole, from a Hero League perspective, you may know what to do, but if you're the only one doing it, you will be at a significant disadvantage than if you were with your team doing potentially what might be the wrong thing, because you will give your team a larger chance to succeed if you are there than if you are off on your own doing the quote right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't think we can break it down really any more than that, because as we've all said, it's very individually based. Like, it's very hard to quantify this exact amount of map awareness and this exact amount of mechanical skill and this number of heroes that you can play to a high level will get you out of bronze or get you out of silver or whatever. It can only be in generalities.
And this isn't directly related to the question, and I don't know if this is what's working for me currently in high bronze or high gold, low plat, or low gold, high plat. I don't know how you would say that. But I have found like my carry role right now is globals. If you can get your team, and I don't know if teams listen enough in bronze to just understand that you being later to objectives, so to kind of just play passively until you're there. Dahaka and Falstad have been life changers for me in Hero League. Just helping my team get that experience advantage, and then it's on you, to work on those heroes and know when it is time for you to join your team. But that's definitely kind of one of the carry techniques that you can go into.
That makes sense, because then you can control whether or not you're split soaking and when exactly you collapse on an objective and where, like I'm thinking about where Falstad's landing and all that. So yeah, that's a very good point.
And you're able to get back to your team at a moment's notice.
Correct.
Yeah, precisely. So,
but I
have to take up some Falstad myself.
Yep. Or even Brightwing, and I can't think of other globals.
Yeah, Brightwing, I mean, yes, absolutely. But you still get there, and then you still have to rely on them quite a bit. Like, a good Falstad could really not only have the map movement, but carry a little bit too. So that's a thought. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for questions this week. Remember, if you guys have those, you can send them to us multiple ways. Multi, why don't you tell them some of the ways they can send those, as well as where we can be reached?
You can find us in-game, certainly, by typing /join space LOTS. We've got a channel in there, or we've got a Discord channel. There's a link to it sticking to the top of our Twitter, which is @Lords of the Storm. We're also on twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm live Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central. So come check us out there if you haven't yet. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Lords of the Storm podcast. So check that out. And if you want to, you can email us with feedback or questions, lordsofthestorm@outlook.com. We take some from that. We take some from the Discord. We have taken some from Twitter as well. So just hit us up wherever. But emails are always appreciated. And in addition, we appreciate anyone who takes the time to leave any sort of review for us. Certainly positive ones or 5-star iTunes reviews, that sort of thing. I can't stress enough how helpful this is. I don't want to take too much time doing so, but seriously, you guys, it's a big deal. Bigger deal than we let on. So if you have the moment, you haven't tried it yet, leave us a review out there. And then, of course, if you really want to help out the show, we have a Patreon set up, patreon.com/Lords of the Storm, where you can give any amount that you deem necessary for our services, or not at all. And on super rare occasions, if you're a Patreon supporter and you come through town, we may or may not have you over at a LAN party.
Yeah.
And or take you out to barbecue. So, rare cases, that sort of thing can happen.
Very true. You can also find us individually. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, all the things at GizmoZord. I apologize for the lack of being able to stream lately, but I will let you guys know when I am able to do so again. You can also find me on Convert to Raid presents the BattleNet News, which is Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Central. Multi, where can you be found?
I'm on Twitter @Multizord, and then I'm also, of course, I'm on the Discord too. I'm trying to get more active on there. Work's been crazy lately, but I'm going to be hopping back in there quite a bit pretty soon here, more so than I have been. I will also point you guys at the Cavalry Show, or it's the Cavalry, but it's on Twitter @the Cavalry Show. It's our Overwatch show for the Zord Network, and with the new host there, with Mel Arena, I think they're really hitting their stride again, and it's been good, guys. If you haven't checked it out in a while, jump back in there.
Awesome. Very good. TBK, where can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter @TBKZord and twitch.tv/TBKZord, where I actually put out a streaming schedule. Look at me. I know.
What?
Crazy. Monday nights, 9 Central or so, and then Thursday nights between 9 and 10 Central, depending on when the Chair League game I'm casting goes live. I will be casting one tomorrow night. I believe that's at 9 Central as well, and then hopefully on occasion Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever I find the time. But check that out.
Is there any way I can cheer you on with bits? Probably not.
I need to become an affiliate first, so I need to actually do the streaming thing so that they give me the ability to be cheered.
Seems reasonable. Okay.
You won't get an in-game banner of me, sadly.
Yeah.
What?
Or a spray.
I don't know if I'd want one. No offense.
Wow. Feels bad, man.
All right.
No, I might.
It can say it's a thing.
So many hurtful things tonight, Multi.
Sorry, guys.
There needs to be an "It's a Thing" spray.
For Brightwing?
That'd be sweet.
Your
thing.
Yep. That'd be great.
Well, we want to give a special thanks to our patron producer, Ouroboros Sword, for helping support the show. We always do appreciate it. Make sure you guys get in there, watch some ads, grab your bits, or get your bits,
Oh, God.
and cheer on your favorite teams in the Clash. Wow. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys next week. In time, same place.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Enough. I shall do no more.
Grab